Hello students, so I am here with this video for the solution of exercise 5a. Okay, in the same way I am planning to send you another video for exercise 5b and 5c we can solve in the class itself, but still if you find any difficulty in any of the question, you can ask me personally or we can discuss it again also. Okay, so there is not a big problem. So I am going to start exercise 5a with question number 1. The questions which can be marked, I will tell you to mark in the book, and if I want to give you the notes, then I request you to please note down the notes in your copy directly. Okay, don't wait for rough work and then fair work. Just write them directly in your fair copy so that you can start the revision for your second unit test exam. So coming to question number 1, what is the need for classification of elements? So here you can get the answer, page number 78. You can write all the 3 points. Actually these 3 points explain the need for the classification of elements. Coming to question number 2, what was the basis of the earliest attempt made for classification and grouping of elements? You can get the answer of this question number 2 in the next paragraph. As you complete the answer 1, just below that a paragraph. In the beginning, attempts were made by chemists to classify elements on the basis of factors such as density, malleability, ductility, etc., and also to consider whether they are metal or non-metal. Only this much. Okay, so the marked portion is the answer of question number 2. Then next, question number 3 part A. Question number 3 part A. A, B and C are elements of Dobereiner's triad. If the atomic mass of A is 7 and that of C is 39, what should be the atomic mass of B? So here you have to give the answer. This is answer number 3 part A. So 3 elements are given, A, B and C. Okay, so atomic mass of A given is 7. Atomic mass of C which is given is 39. So how can we calculate the mass of the middle element according to Dobereiner? It should be the average of the masses of first and third element. So we need to find out the average. So 7 plus 39 upon 2, it will be 46 upon 2, that is 23. So atomic mass of B is equal to 23. Okay, this much you have to write. Now coming to question number 3 part B. Why was Dobereiner's triad discarded? Dobereiner's triad was discarded. The reason is given here. Page number 79. All the students who have attended my class, I have already given this point as a note. So they have already done this answer in their copy as a class note. So no need to do this question again. Once again listen. The regular students who have attended my online class, I had given this work for writing in the copy. So no need of doing this question again from exercise 5a because already the work is done in the copy. But the students who have not done that class note, so they need to write the reason for discarding the law of triad, these 2 points which are given here, along with one example. Okay, points and one example. Then coming to question number 4, explain Newland's law of octave. Why was the law discarded? Question number 4, explain Newland law of octave. Why was the law discarded? You can get the answer on page number 79, second paragraph. So you can start Newland law of octave. When elements are arranged in increasing order of atomic mass, the property of every 8 element starting from element are repetition of property of starting element. This is the answer of first part, that is Newland law of octave. Then second part, why the law is discarded, so that you can write from here. Reason for discarding the law of octave, the points are given. Write the complete points up to page number 80. So finished question number 4 also. Then coming to question number 5. Did Dobereiner's triad also exist in the column of Newland law of octave? Compare and find out. So write down your answer. Yes, one of the Dobereiner triad also exists in the column of Newland's octave, which is found to be the triad of lithium, sodium and potassium. Okay. Next, question number 6. Part A. Lithium, sodium and potassium elements were put in one group on the basis of their similar properties. What are those similar properties? Actually, these three elements, they are in the same Dobereiner triad. So we have to explain on what basis these elements are grouped together. So what are those similar properties? So write down the first property, the first similarity, all these three elements are metal. First property, all these three elements are metal. Second common property, all these three elements show the valency of +1. All these three elements show the valency of +1. And third similarity, their metallic oxide are strongly alkaline in nature. Their metallic oxide are strongly alkaline in nature. Okay, so these are the similar properties due to which these three elements are grouped together. Now coming to question number 6, part B. The elements calcium, strontium and barium were put in one group or family on the basis of their similar properties. What were those similar properties? So again you write the first common property. All these three elements are metal. All these three elements are metal. Second, all the three elements show the valency of +2. Third, their metal oxide is alkaline in nature. Their metal oxide is alkaline in nature. Only this much. Then coming to question number 7a. What was Mendeleev's basis for classification of elements? Mendeleev's basis for classification of element was number 1. Elements were grouped together due to their similarity in the properties. Elements were grouped together due to similarities in their property. Second, they were arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses. Second, they were arranged in increasing order of their atomic masses. Then question number 7b. Mendeleev's contribution to the concept of periodic table laid the foundation for the modern periodic table. Give reason. So write down the answer. According to Mendeleev's law, the physical and chemical properties of an element are periodic function of their atomic masses. Later on, it was discovered that the properties of elements are the function of their atomic number. This laid the foundation of modern periodic table in which the elements were arranged in increasing order of their atomic number. So, Mendeleev had an important contribution to the concept of periodic table. Okay, then coming to question number 8. State Mendeleev's periodic law. So you can write Mendeleev periodic law. It is given here, this page. Mendeleev periodic law inside this blank column. Then question number 9. Use Mendeleev's periodic table to predict the formula of hydrides of carbon and silicon, oxides of potassium, aluminium and barium. So coming to question number 8, part A. How to do? You have to write the formula for hydride of carbon. First you get the valency of carbon, because in Mendeleev periodic table carbon is placed in fourth group, so valency of carbon will be 4 and that of hydrogen is 1. So crossing the formula we get the crossing the valency we get the formula CH4. Then coming to hydride of silicon. Again, according to Mendeleev table, you can see the position of silicon. Silicon is also on the fourth group. So silicon will also have valency of 4. Hydride has 1. So crossing the valency, the formula becomes SiH4. So in this way you can write the formula of their hydrides, because you can easily get the valency from the group in which they are placed. Carbon and silicon, they both are placed in fourth group, so they are showing the valency of 4 and their hydrides will be CH4 and SiH4. Then coming to B part, oxides of potassium, aluminium and barium. Potassium belongs to first group, so its valency will be 1, oxide valency is 2, formula becomes K2O. Aluminium belongs to third group, so its valency will be 3, oxide has valency of 2, crossing the valency, formula becomes Al2O3. Barium is present in the second group, so its valency will be 2, oxide has valency of 2, so formula becomes BaO. Okay, so here we have finished question number 8. Now remaining I will give you in the next video.